Hello everyone! Welcome to my channel. On this channel, I talk about fragrance, skincare, fashion, and the finer things in life. And today, I'm really excited because I'm going to be talking about a series of fragrances that are really special. What are they? Roja Parfum, Parfum de la Nuit 1, 2, and 3, also known as PDLN 1 through 3. So, on Instagram, if you've been following me, you know that I had my husband review these fragrances quickly on an IGTV video. But today, we don't trust him. I'm going to review them by myself and I'm going to give you the scoop on these fragrances. So, if you want to know all about Parfum de la Nuit, these are really expensive. Are they worth it? Am I going to buy a full bottle? Or should you? If these questions are lingering in your mind, this video is for you. Go grab a drink, go grab a snack, and we're talking about nighttime fragrances. Go grab your partner as well, come find me here, and let's start our conversation. Alright, so today we're going to be talking about Roja's nighttime fragrances 1, 2, and 3. But before we go into the details, I would like to talk to you about 3 quick points. First of all is that you do not need a Roja fragrance in your life. They are very expensive and they are very financially challenging. And no one's life is incomplete if he or she does not have a Roja fragrance. By the same token, I have a Roja bottle. Is my life better than yours? Absolutely not. This is not a criterion. So if you have the finances and if you enjoy fragrances, why not? But do not charge your credit card to buy a full bottle of Roja like I did. It is not recommended. So, second point, I've been talking about love on this channel and we've gotten a little sentimental, emotional over the course of last 2 or 3 videos, but today we are gonna be going full force on sexy. These are nighttime fragrances, desire, seduction, bedtime, sex. But these are difficult times. We are experiencing something that comes in every 100 years, like pandemic. And even if pandemic weren't here, our lives would be changing, ever changing. Our relationships change, our routines, they get old, they get monotonous. And if you find yourself in a state of crisis of desire, don't worry about that. It's just everywhere. It makes both of us. And if you want to know more about this crisis of desire, or if you want to look at your relationships, your personal relationships under a magnifying force, I'm going to be linking 2 videos on YouTube down in the description box. Go check them. And if you want to go further on these desired topic or sexual tension or relationships, I'm going to be putting 2 books on the screen. One of them is Esther Perel's Mating in Captivity, and the other one is the same author, Esther Perel, and it's called The State of Affairs, Rethinking Infidelity. I think these books are tremendous and they give tremendous insight into our relationships, daily life. Go check them out if you are feeling a little stuck, if you are feeling that crisis of desire in your relationship, or if you feel a little down when it comes to your marriage or sexual relationships. I think those 2 books and then those 2 videos are gonna help you a lot, in my opinion. Alright, so Roja, Parfum de la Nuit 1, 2, and 3, desire, sexual attraction, seduction. So the theme, the common theme, the umbrella theme is, nighttime power, sex, exchange. So he gave them special names. He assigned them special personalities, and I'm gonna be talking about those specific personalities as we go along the fragrances. I'm gonna start with actually Parfum de la Nuit number 1, which is here. So let's spray this on my right hand and let's start reviewing it. The full bottle's picture is going to be up on the screen. And what is Parfum de la Nuit number 1? Parfum de la Nuit number 1 is a sharp, slightly animalic, spicy amber fragrance, pure oriental fragrance. In my opinion, among these three fragrances, Parfum de la Nuit 1 is the sharpest. It has the most shocking opening. Shocking opening meaning that it's smoky and it feels earthy to me. The opening here is like, soil set on fire kind of feeling. But as this fragrance dries down, it becomes more tamed. Benzoin, tonka, and some spices. And amber comes into play, a kind of like rein this very sharp opening in. And all of these are happening in a background of really well concealed animalic touches that Roja is very professionally does in his portfolio. There is an animalic vibe. There is something that you cannot really put your nose on, but it's there and it makes this fragrance sexy, so smooth, and the transitions are seamless. So whenever you open up Fragrantica's page and then if you see all those notes up there, I think they are there. Am I able to pick them up one by one? No. When it comes to Roja fragrances, since the blending is so homogeneous and so seamless and one of a kind, I am not at that place that I'm picking single notes one by one. It's my nose. It's not as keen as Roja's fragrances need it to be. However, the overall feeling of this fragrance is a very spicy, oriental amber fragrance. There is an underlying sweetness, kind of like benzoin tonka feeling going on in this fragrance, which makes it really attractive. And this one says is predator. So Roja says this is more like a predator and it's gonna come get you. So it's more like a top personality. And someone being bottom here, I thought, the personality of this fragrance and my being is gonna are gonna clash, but it did not happen. Actually, as this fragrance lived on my skin, I liked how I smelled. There was not a clash I was expecting. So don't let the name fool you. Don't let the kind of like that predator vibe feeling, that sharp opening fool you. Give this a chance actually, because being like the bottom and passive is, you can still be predator, as actually Simone de Beauvoir said here, to make oneself an object or passive is something totally different than being a passive object on a shelf. So don't let that name or the combination of notes or the ambitiousness of the fragrance fool you. Check this out on your skin and know that at the end of the day, this is a very well made, a very, very high quality, spicy, ambery, oriental fragrance. All right, so number 2 is actually my husband's favorite. When he reviewed this fragrances very quickly on Instagram, he said that, Parfum de la Nuit 2 speaks his name. So let's spray Parfum de la Nuit 2 on my left hand here. Okay, so what's the scoop on this one? This is an exceptional boozy fragrance. Forget about Killian. Forget about any boozy fragrance that you know of. The booziness, the orange, coconut, cacao, and everything mixed up with that this oriental amber feeling down at the bottom creates this fresh opening. It's not long lit, but then comes that rum note. I think that is a great, great, great. I think it's a one of a kind rum boozy note. I'm gonna be actually very brave and say that, if Killian boozy fragrances are like Mercury, this is kind of like Jupiter. This is tremendous. This is massive, boozy, gourmand with that oriental ambery touch. And as this lives on your skin and as this starts to dry down, there is that so high quality vanilla vibe comes in, and it is very alluring. You keep on smelling yourself. It is addictive. And today, actually, I drowned in this fragrance. See the dent here? And I wore this to work. I know it might sound counterintuitive, Parfum de la Nuit, nighttime fragrance, going to work. However, this is not that scary. At the end of the day, this feels like a super nice, boozy gourmand fragrance with ambery touches. And actually, I garnered some compliments. And actually, everyone was wearing masks. And even through the mask, they said that, today the scent coming off of you is just so different, so enticing and interesting. And that brought the whole concept of this being labeled as the seducer by Roja. And I was like, wow, definitely it meant something. There is a coincidence between the personality name of the fragrance and between the compliments and the reaction I've gotten on the floor in the laboratory. So a very good fragrance. If you are a big fan of boozy fragrances, boozy, creamy, kind of like citrusy fragrances with that very top-notch creme de la creme, ambery, oriental touch, I think this is calling out your name. Roja Parfum de la Nuit 2 is a really nice fragrance. And as with all three, these are 100% unisex, and they are very androgynous, and it is so alluring. It's everything I want from a fragrance. It's neither too feminine, neither too masculine. It's just the combination and the balance of everything perfect. All right, so the last fragrance here actually is sort of different than the scent profile of Parfum de la Nuit 1 and 2. The third one is slightly different. Roja says this one is the Exorcist, and this one is floral, a little floral, more balanced, easier to approach because of the addition of the rose. Here, you are gonna be feeling a rose note. After like 30 minutes, 45 minutes, that is so high quality, so very well placed by Roja. And as this dries down, this becomes spicy, woody fragrance, and you're still getting that ambery kind of like burning sensation on your skin, and the cumin makes it even spicier as in the dry down, and it gets really sexy. So Parfum de la Nuit 1 here, and it's like the burning sensation, it's just like it's setting your skin on fire. And as the number 2 dries down, it takes a turn as well, and it gets ambery on your skin, which is really nice. Here, it's not that prominent. It's more balanced, it's more contained. However, the smell is still very long lasting. I think these three fragrances, I'm giving you a longevity of 8 to 12 hours, depending on the time of the year and your skin chemistry and then how you hold the fragrance. But the longevity department is really well done, and the projection, you're be getting a projection from these three fragrances for like 1 to 2 hours for sure. Back to number 3. This is everything I've just said, but this is more contained. In my opinion, this is the smoothest, this is the best blended out of all 3. However, there is a big elephant in the room looking at me right now. There is an undeniable similarity between Roja's Sweetie Out and Parfum de la Nuit 3. So normally when I look at Fragrantica, they say that, this fragrance is similar to that fragrance. I don't buy that unless I check them myself, I smell them, and this is what I exactly did for these two fragrances. And in my opinion, there is almost like 80% similarity between these two fragrances, especially when it comes to dry down. Yes, this is more rosy, this is more tamed, and this is more saffrony and spicy. And yes, this has that buttery, oily, creamy French patisserie accord, which is really well made, which speaks my name. I'm in love with this. However, as these two starts to dry down on my skin, they are giving me the same vibration. The vibration is on the same wavelength. They read very, very similar. This having the better performance, this having the better blending of ingredients and notes. So, if I did not have this fragrance, I would be buying a full bottle of Parfum de la Nuit number 3. But if you have Sweetie out, and if you enjoyed this one, you do not need that, in my opinion. Unless Roja shows up here and lectures me on how these two fragrances are different, maybe I'll believe that, I'll buy that. But however, until that happens, I'm gonna say that these two fragrances read similar to my nose, and I don't think you need both of them, especially in the dry down after 60-90 minutes. So that needs special attention. Please be careful. If you have this one, Parfum de la Nuit 3 might be really redundant. Similarly, if you have number 3, Sweet Out can be really redundant. And Roja is always accused of covering old fragrances, and sometimes actually what I'm seeing here is that Roja covers his own fragrances as well, which is still fine. He's my favorite. It is my favorite brand. However, we have to point out this kind of similarity here. All right, the burning question. Am I going to be buying a full bottle of any of these fragrances? The answer is a no. But why? So, 1, 2, and 3. Why am I not going to buy number 3? Because I have Sweetie Out, and there's an undeniable similarity in my opinion, and I am very happy with my Sweetie Out. So whatever number 1 and number 2. So number 1 is here. Number 1 is really nice. Number 1 is an excellent, massive, spicy amber oriental fragrance. However, looking at the price and looking at the fragrance, smelling the fragrance, I cannot justify the price. However, if your finances allow and if you want a very high quality, top notch, amber oriental, spicy fragrance that has extreme longevity, that has Roja's blending, high quality, top notch, I think Parfum de la Nuit number 1 is a good choice. However, in my case, I am gonna steer clear. Alright, so what about number 2? A massive boozy fragrance. So my answer is still gonna be no. However, it's a hard no because I've been checking Roja's website regularly, and a week or 2 weeks ago I realized that he discontinued Majestic Oud. That was a fragrance I was very curious about. It had real oud in it, and it was a Chypre fragrance, and Roja does amazing Chypre fragrances. Alas, it is discontinued before I got to try it. So, and I know for a fact that I've heard Roja say that if a fragrance does not sell, he discontinues it. And I'm feeling that I have this suspicion inside me saying that Parfum de la Nuit might be discontinued. This is a total speculation. There is no factual evidence behind this. It's totally my feeling, my God, whatever. But if this line gets discontinued, or especially if Parfum de la Nuit 2 gets discontinued, I might be upset. Why? Because I think this might be the best boozy gourmand fragrance with that spicy ambery oriental touch on the market, and the blending is impeccable. And I do not have a massive, tremendous boozy fragrance in my collection, and this can fit into that empty spot perfectly. However, I think considering the price, I'm still gonna say no to this at the time point, but I'm always checking if there is a discount on this one. Why not? Because Justin liked this a lot as well, and I actually garnered a lot of compliments wearing this one. This is a very good fragrance. Boozy fragrance lovers, you're looking at it right now. Alright, so 1 no, 3, redundant if you have the sweetie out, and number 2, why not, but I'm still gonna wait on it, sleep on it. So this is the end of our video. We talked about Roja's nighttime fragrances, Parfums de la Nuit 1, 2, and 3. Let me know down in the comment section if you have tried any of these fragrances. What are your thoughts? Are they worth it? Let's keep the discussion going down in the comment section, and every information will be in the description box as well, and especially my video where I talked about Sweetie Out on the channel, that will be in the description box too. And let me know what you think. As you know, this is a bilingual channel. Each and every video comes in 2 different languages. One of them is in Turkish and the other one is in English, and they are exactly the same, and you have just watched the English version. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for spending time with me. I cannot wait to see you at the next one. Take care, everyone.